I'd like to welcome you to our meeting this evening. I would like to let you know that Commissioner Edwards will not be with us this evening. She is not feeling well. She should be fine, and she'll be back with us at our next meeting, but she was not feeling up to coming out this evening. Also, our attorney isn't here yet, but we're going to start, and then when he comes in, he'll just come to his seat. This time we have with us tonight Pastor Michael Mathis with Mission Field Ministries to lead us in our invocation, which will be followed by our Pledge of Allegiance. If you will, all please rise.
O Lord God, Almighty God of the universe, it is you that we bow before this evening, for you are holy. And God, you have set our iniquities before you, and our secret sins you have set in the light of your countenance. And oh God, we ask you this evening once again to please have mercy upon us, Lord, as we stand in your presence. And we ask you, oh God, to lay your hand heavy upon us, God, that your hands might do the work of the things that you have placed us here on this earth to do, that your glory and your light might be shining upon us. We thank you, Lord, always for the spiritual boundaries that you've placed around this town of Hope Mills. Oh God, you've been so good. Things are growing at such a wonderful rate. Thank you for the finances. Thank you for all the residents in this town and their contributions. We're grateful, God, for the small things that you do in our lives. We're very grateful, Lord, for our leadership. No one's perfect. And so, Lord, we thank you for our mayor, Jackie Warner, and her family. Thank you for her willingness to serve. We thank you for keeping a hedge of protection around her as she goes out and comes in. The enemy always wants to destroy or prevent us from doing the things that you have put us here on this earth to do. Not only her, God, but her entire staff, the assistant mayor, everyone, the attorney, everyone. Lord, it's one team, God, that you have put together. And we thank you for what you're doing through all of them. We thank you for your protection over their families. We take none of this lightly, Lord. And in a world troubled by so many dangerous things, we're especially grateful for our first responders, our chief and his staff, and our firemen, Lord, and all of them, God, everyone of them that are always willing to put their lives in harm's way. God, we thank you. We thank you for their contribution. And now, Lord, as we move forward into this meeting this evening, we thank you for the wisdom that you give man, even that we're born with a degree of wisdom, just like faith. But, oh God, it's your wisdom, God, the wisdom that we can see clearly to make the right decisions that are going to affect so many lives. And so, God, we ask you once again to endow those that are making these decisions with your wisdom. And we thank you for all that you're doing. And now, Lord, it's in your hands. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. At this time, is there any additions or deletions to our agenda? If not, do I have a motion to approve our agenda that's before you?
Motion to approve.
And a second? Second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed. The first thing we have is a presentation. Welcome, Mr. Hartsock. We're glad you're here. Our town charter day is March the 9th, 2021. Whereas our town's founding fathers, in order to secure the blessings of liberty for themselves and their posterity, established an act to incorporate the town of Hope Mills. And whereas it was ratified March the 9th, 1891, and signed into law by the Secretary of State, W.L. Saunders, in Raleigh, March 31st, 1891. And whereas 2021 marks the 130th anniversary since the town's incorporation, and the Board of Commissioners wishes to observe this anniversary. Now therefore, I, Jackie Warner, Mayor of the Town of Hope Mills, do hereby proclaim March the 9th, 2021 to be Town Charter Day. And one thing that I think is exciting about this is we are 130 years old, but it is an opportunity for us to, during this period of time with COVID and everything going on, it gives us an opportunity to celebrate and get our minds off of the things that have been going on. So hopefully this will be an opportunity for us in our own way to celebrate the fact that Hope Mills is 130 years old. Next, we have a proclamation for Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Week. Whereas MS is a chronic and disabling disease of the central nervous system in which the progression, severity, and specific symptoms cannot be foreseen. And whereas every hour of every day someone new is diagnosed with MS, a disease that can erode a person's abilities and hopes, halt a career, and unravel the fabric of families. Whereas the National Multiple Sclerosis Society reports in our state more than 10,000 people are affected by this devastating disease, which generally strikes young adults ages 20 through 40 in the prime of their lives. Whereas research advances have brought us closer to finding the cure, developing a method of prevention for multiple sclerosis is an important task that all Americans and North Carolinians should support. Now, therefore, I, Jackie Warner, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as Mayor of the Town of Hope Mills, do hereby proclaim March 14th through 20th as Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Week in the Town of Hope Mills, and commend this observance to all of our citizens and surrounding municipalities as they join in this Awareness Week. And usually at this time there would be Amanda Lockamy would be here with her mother Linda Lockamy, and usually Pam Ray. Pam Ray has since passed away since the last time we had an MS Day, but it would always be the town that would present this certificate or this proclamation to them. So if they're watching tonight, know that we continue to support MS and your cause, and we're proud that we can, as Hope Mills, have this Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Week. Next, we have our public hearing, and this public hearing is to allow citizens to the opportunity to make brief comments in assisting the mayor and board of commissioners with defining the job qualifications, requirements, and characteristics and experience desired in the next Hope Mills town manager. Do we have anything that has come from emails or public comments? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to come to the microphone and make any recommendations as we move forward with the process to hire a town manager upon our current town manager's retirement? Anyone have suggestions or opinions?
If not, Mayor, make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, I have a motion to close public hearing. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none, opposed. Thank you. Next, we have public comments. Do we have any public comments? Thank you, ma'am. Okay, first we have Mike Gillis.
Ma'am, I withdraw my comment.
Okay, thank you. Next we have Grilly Mitchell.
Madam Mayor, I withdraw my, keep the time back to the time.
Thank you, sir. Okay. At this time, we have our consent agenda. Is there anything that you would like pulled from the consent agenda, or do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda that's before you?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none, opposed. The next item on our agenda is old business. It's an update on the Par 4 development project. And does Mr. McLaughlin, do you have something in reference to that? Is he not here? Ms. Adams?
No.
Nothing to no update?
Additional. No, I don't believe so.
Okay,
Madam Mayor, I have a question on that.
okay.
On some printed paper that I saw, it said that Gulfview was the primary interest dedicated to Par 4,
Yes, sir.
but that, my question is there another entrance? Is there gonna be two entrances to the apartments?
If you're asking if Crampton is being considered, that is no, it is not.
I'm asking if there's any other entrance.
And eventually that entrance will be probably shared by the town's entrance, which will have two entrances to the golf course. In other
But
words,
there's no other entrance planned for the apartment complex. Is that correct?
Not that I'm aware
Not
of.
that we're-
Not through.
They
not
haven't,
through
they haven't
Crampton.
brought it before the committee, but we know that Crampton is not being considered at all.
Well, we're supposed to know that, but you never know when you sit up here. Sometimes you find something out. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
I
sir.
had the same concern when I read it, because I saw that word primary, and I think it's the first time that it was included.
Okay.
Or maybe
Well,
it's the first time that I saw that word put there, and usually when I see the word primary, it's always followed by the word secondary.
It's, my understanding, and from that is, that's the way they've written it up, because that will be the main entrance. And at this time, in this point in
Okay.
time, the other development is not taking place, nor is the town's development taking place, which would offer another exit when those things take place.
Okay.
But I mean, that's my understanding, and I don't know if Mr. McLaughlin had any, of course, he's not here, so I don't know that he has any other information, because they haven't brought it back to the committee. It's gotta come back to the
Yeah.
committee, the actual proposal,
Right.
and they haven't done that yet,
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
I got another question.
okay?
We've got a public hearing coming up on that the 15th.
Correct.
If we permanently close Crampton Road, we can't open it back up for town use, can we?
No,
Okay.
once you close it, it's closed. That's what the,
Once you go through the process, the standard process is it's divided evenly amongst the adjoining properties. So each property on either side of the road will essentially gain half the road as part of the property.
I know that's what we did with Plank Road. We,
that's
Yeah.
what, in Mulder Street,
In
same
Mulder
thing. The
Street, yeah.
town closed Mulder Street. It was
just
given,
wanted to get that out of the way before we get started.
okay, all righty, good job.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Consideration of entering a contract to employ an interim town manager beginning March 5th. You do have a proposal for that contract, and that contract would be issued for them to start on the this coming Friday for the retreat, but to officially start on the 15th of March and work with Town Manager Adams until the end of March for training and transition, and then continue employed here until such time we hire a new manager. Is there any questions that you have in reference to the contract before you?
Don't need a motion.
Anybody? Okay, we need a motion to approve the contract.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract to employ an interim town manager beginning on March the 5th.
Okay. Have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed. The next item is discussion of flooding issue at C. Wayne Collier, the NC DOT response, and adding topics for the budget retreat. Turn it over to Ms. Adams.
Yes, Madam Mayor. And I'm not going to read my agenda item. I'm sure you all have read it. One thing I will add is that the original let date for the project was 2024 for DOT. And Mr. Hines sent me information that the latest, of course this is subject to change, but right now the latest let date for construction for that road widening project is now bumped up to October 2023. So they are aware of the issues there. They are aware of the seriousness of it, and, I think they're doing everything in their power to try to get it, done as quickly as possible. But I would like to, engage in further conversation, about the whole issue at the budget retreat,
Okay.
if the board deems appropriate.
I think that would be the
I would
appropriate
agree, Mayor.
time. And that will be Friday, so, okay.
Do we need to vote on that or just a consensus?
No, just a
Consensus.
consensus, I think is fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have next we have new business, and that'll be consideration of accepting committee recommendations from the nominating committee, and I'll turn that over to Mayor Pro Tem.
Madam Mayor, Board of Commissioners, the nominating committee would like to recommend Antonio McGill for Parks and Recreation Committee, Catherine Caltovit for Appearance Commission, and Alice Dodd for the Historic Preservation Committee.
I will second those
We have a
motions.
motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed, are all the committees' membership at this time filled? Very good. So that's,
Madam Mayor,
yes,
there is a question about that Parks and Recs. When I went there Monday night, they told me that it was still an opening or two on the Parks and Recs committee. But I told them, I thought you said it was no more
Well,
open.
this one is an opening.
Okay,
You're
So-
filling that opening with this appointment.
okay. Okay, I'll have to go back through the list again. I think they were trying to say it was a,
Somebody that's left that I'm not aware of.
okay, I'll go over the list with
Okay.
you. Thank you.
all righty. Thank you. Okay, next have consideration of formation of art committee, and I wrote something up as the purpose of this, and I'll pass one to each of them. Apologize, I didn't put it at your seat before we sat down. I got one I'll give one for Melissa and Joan too. It was brought to my attention from actually someone that is an artist in Hope Mills, and that was concerned that that we have all these committees, but we don't have an art committee, and a committee that they felt like could be a town committee, because it has happened in other towns. The purpose would be to promote exceptional visual arts, traditional crafts, educational activities, and live performing artists to enlighten, entertain, and enrich our community while preserving and demonstrating the Hope Mills historical and living cultural heritage. It'd be, again, a volunteer application process. Would not be a standing committee until we would see if this committee would work. The idea behind this is because we are proposing another mural for Trade Street, and we want citizen input, and we feel like if we turn this over to citizens and let them help us and assist us in this, and also they would work closely with those committees, such as it overlaps Parks and Rec, it overlaps Appearance sometimes because of the activities and stuff that are planned, and so they would just be helping with that. The other things that was brought to my attention, and they ask me if I would just think about it and make a list of things in Hope Mills, and they started thinking about, we've got things that we can do with culinary art. We've got artistic bakeries and bakers that do a lot of neat things. Poetry appreciation, journaling, music appreciation. All three high schools and all the elementary schools at the 5th grade level, when they get back to school, have music programs that we can target those for the cultural arts part of Hope Mills. Calligraphy, photography. We've got a lot of people in Hope Mills that do a lot with photography. We've got a couple of dance studios that used to be on Trade Street that are right here in Hope Mills that can propose things that we can do as far as promoting dance, and especially even things that the adult community could get or participate in, such as line dancing. The high schools have choirs, they have dance teams, have drama clubs, have musicians. They just believe that we have missed tapping groups that we possibly could pull in to do some things, or at least we could recognize those artists. So this committee would be volunteer only. I already have one volunteer that actually brought the idea to me, and quite frankly has not served on any other committee. Just felt like that there's a need for arts in Hope Mills, and knows the things that Parks and Rec has been doing with their crafts and things that they're promoting, and that they feel like this would be a good opportunity to get the whole town involved by way of committee. So I just asked the board if you would allow me to have this committee started with an application process, just like we do for the other committees. It would still be, they have to reside in the MIA, still would just be a seven-member committee. It would not be one of our permanent committees until we see if this committee actually takes hold. Is there any questions about that?
So Mayor, just to be clear, it's going to start off as an ad hoc committee?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
The only difference would be I'm not appointing them. I'm going to let them volunteer.
Yeah.
Because I've already had, like I said, I've already had one person come forward. I would rather it be that way so we know that we get some worker bees.
Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Uh-huh.
I'd just like to say that I am, I hope that my millennial committee could have, I thought it was a component that they can work on, but they're so busy with a lot of other stuff. So like I said, I'm a lover of the arts, and so I hope we get the participation and the people to work and be a part of this committee. So I am in agreement that we do this.
Okay. Any other comments?
I'll make a motion, we move forward with the mayor's proposal.
Okay, thank you.
1 second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed, and we'll, Ms. Starling, I'll get you and Ms. Adams a copy of this, what I wrote up, but I figure I'll give you also the name of the lady that has contacted me. She might have other contacts that she's interested in. Okay, the next thing is item C on our new business, and it's a consideration of change order for the public safety building in the amount of $10,034. And I'll turn it over to Mr.
Okay, it's our first change order for the public safety project. And what makes up this change order is two different things. One is the trees in the front corner area up here. And just so you know some history of this and how this happened, the original survey of the property did not show those trees on it. And I talked with the architect to see how that could happen. Why wasn't that on the original survey? And the original survey was done so early in the project, before the building was even designed, that at that time, we didn't even think we would be that much on this side of the street that was out here. As it turned out, when the building was designed, it came more this way, the street was going to be moved over, and the survey was never updated. So that's why we have to do the change order for the trees for $8,625, which is actually a pretty good deal for removing 21 trees, if you look at it that way. Had it been on the original survey, then this same amount would have been included in the bids by the contractor. But it was an oversight once the project was designed, and the survey was never updated to reflect the trees up in that corner. So that's the first part of the change order. The second part of the change order is an additional sign. If you notice out in front of by the fire department's front driveway, right near their letterboard sign, there's the required USDA sign that's up there right now. We've had a lot of citizens that walk the walking trail ask, what's going to be built out there? What's it going to look like? Even though it's on our website, the people that are out here walking around would like to see. So this sign, and you should have a copy of what it's going to look like in your packet. It shows the rendering of the building, and then I asked the architect when he designed this to put the logos of all the agencies involved. The architect, the contractor, the town, USDA, and PNC Bank. So that people also walking by know who all is involved with making this project happen. So that is $1,409 for that sign, for a total change order of $10,034. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
being a retired contractor myself, I hate change orders.
I don't like them myself either.
I would never come to your house to do a job for you and come back and give you another item that I had to do because of my neglect, I didn't do it. Whether it be our neglect, contractor's neglect, it should not happen. Those trees were there and marked with paint when we broke ground. How could they not know those trees had to come out? You got a contractor that's way up here in his reputation. And I'm certainly happy with the progress that they're making. I myself, I'm not gonna support a change order because I hate change orders. I don't think they should be done. Before you know it, this building will be $17 million. We needed to have a cap on it, like we did on the dam. It couldn't go past a certain amount, or it couldn't go past the bidded amount. Whose fault was it that they didn't see the trees? Was it yours, mine, Melissa's, the mayor's? Whose? You can't build a building around a tree.
Well, as I said, it was the original survey, which was not the contractors. It wasn't even the architect. That was one of the first things that was done before the building was even designed. And they concentrated on the area on the other side of the road and not the area on this side. So once the building was designed, the survey should have been updated to reflect those trees with the new footprint of the building. And that never
Who's
happened.
responsible for getting that survey updated? Is it me, you?
What's that?
Who's responsible for updating the survey?
The surveyor would have had to have been requested to update it after the new footprint of the building was designed, and nobody contacted the surveyor to update the survey. So there was really, it's not a specific individual or person that you can point a finger at, because 10 different agencies looked at the survey at that point. So you either have to blame everybody or not blame anybody, and it's just an oversight.
Well, that's a very expensive not blaming somebody. And I hate the word blame, but
Well, in a
somebody's
$14 million
responsible.
project, $8,600 it's still a change order and it's still money, but it's
still a change order. It's not my money.
It's still a change order.
It's these people's money.
I wasn't happy about it either. The first thing that I said when this was brought up was, who missed something? And why wasn't this on the survey? I feel the same way that you do.
Well, I just want to make it known that I have trouble supporting a change order in this amount when the building was already bid.
Right.
Somebody missed a step on the track of getting the final bids in. We approved the bid. We approve what's brought before us by whomever brings it forward. It's not our job to go out there and study every detail. If it was, I'd be making big bucks instead of sitting up here. But and as far as the sign goes on the fence, I'll donate my time to put that sign up. I put many signs up. Every 2 years, we put a lot of signs up, don't we? So I don't want to spend that kind of money to put a sign out. And somehow my name got included, that it was my idea and Miss Edwards' idea to put that sign up. I know I'm getting up in years, but I'm not feeble in mind. I don't remember ever approving a sign or asking for a sign to be approved. Never.
Okay. Well, we don't have, the sign is not a requirement, but the trees do have to come down.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
well, Drew, here we are. When we were discussing the final bid amount, I asked Mr. Gardner directly, did the bid include everything in this project? I think I asked him twice. And he said yes. I don't like change orders. He knows that because I told him that. Because the biggest fear that I have about this project, it's going to be built on change orders. I said it then, I feel that way tonight. I served on the Lake Advisory Committee the mayor put together. And one of our primary missions were to look at change orders that came before the board. There were several, and I remember correctly, that the Lake Advisory Committee did not recommend approval of from ASI and Scheibel. This can be $10,000, it could be $10. I feel the same way, the very same way. I have an issue with the sign. I have an issue with the trees because someone should have caught this that site plan we approved was well in advance approved, and those trees didn't just show up overnight. They've been there. And like Commissioner Lake said, the day we broke ground out there, those trees were already marked and identified to come down. It's about accountability is what it is with me. It was that way with the lake, and that's this way with this project. The process I have an issue with, because I want to be clear about how we're doing change orders. Are change orders coming before the board for approval before they go to USDA, or are they going from the contractor to USDA and then to the board?
Neither of these, this change order has not been approved until y'all approve it.
Even though
The
it's-
architect has seen it, USDA has seen it, the contractor has seen it, but they are not going to act on this until y'all approve it.
it's being submitted by USDA for approval.
Yes, they have to approve a change order before it's even submitted. So the contractor sends it to the architect, he submits it to USDA, then I get it that it's an official change order, it comes to y'all for approval.
Okay.
Once I sign it, I send it to the architect tomorrow, then they'll send it to USDA for their signature, then it goes to the contractor last, and then they can move on with the project.
Are the trees still up?
They're the trees in this front corner right here.
Okay,
And
so they're still
these
up.
trees have never been marked.
Okay.
When we did the groundbreaking, the trees that were on the other side of where the road used to be
Okay.
were the ones marked, because these were never on the survey, so they were never even considered to be torn down or taken down.
Last meeting, we approved, what was it, 28,000 for a sidewalk, I think?
25 something, 27 something, yeah, for the
For
sidewalk on this side.
a
of the building.
sidewalk.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with,
My point
project.
being, the sidewalk wasn't part of the plan either.
right.
And now the trees wasn't part of the plan until now. So that's two items. I'm hoping. Yeah. I'm hoping that change orders are not a routine process before this board to build this project. I really do. That was my concern then, it's my concern now. And I don't care if it's 10,000, I don't care if it's $10. I don't even care if it's $1. Not at all. It's not my money. It's everybody's money that lives in Hope Mills. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Madam Mayor, I like the idea of having a sign, but I'm willing to take the sign out since we're already, $35,000 over now?
Yeah, I agree, Mayor Pro Tem. I can support it without the sign, only because those Madam Mayor, sorry, only because of the location of where those trees are. That's the only reason I can support this. And I've gone back and forth, don't think I haven't. Just like I did with the Lake Advisory Committee, we went over numerous change orders before they came before that board. And Mayor Pro Tem's correct, I can support it without the sign, but not with. Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
can I ask you a question, Drew?
Sure.
You may not know, but you know who's gonna do the work?
The
Is there
work.
gonna be a local company doing the work?
It's going to be the same tree company that took down the other.
Were they were
I'm-
local, weren't they?
I believe they were.
Mhm.
I don't remember the
if
name,
we're
but
gonna do it,
they were local.
Yeah, if we do, I'd
They
like to
did an
see us
excellent
put that
job.
money back into the community.
Yeah,
So,
they were.
Thank you.
Good job, too.
Madam Mayor, ma'am,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to jump out on a limb here and make a motion that we deny the change order because it didn't come in with the bid. And I can understand what Drew's saying, and I understand what Commissioner Marley's saying, but we're spending money that's not ours. Or borrowing money that's not ours, however it's worded. But I'll make that motion. If it passes, good. If it doesn't, it's okay too.
Okay, we have a motion to deny the change orders. Do I have a second for that motion? Okay, the motion dies for a lack of second. Do we have another motion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes. Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve the change order without the sign, but I want to make a comment to Commissioner Legg too. Is that, and I feel the same way you do, Commissioner Legg. I feel very strongly, but I look at these trees and where they're at, and I know they've got to come down. We've got to be better at guarding change orders, and we've got to be better at oversight of this project. Can we agree to that? Because that's how I feel about it. Because like Mayor Pro Tem said, we're up close to 40,000 with sidewalk, now trees, taking out the sign. And I hope that this is not going to be repetitive before this board going forward. And that's the reason why, Commissioner Legg, that I feel the way I do, is because I know they got to come out. So this may be the exception, but it should not be the rule. So I'll make that motion without the sign, Mayor.
Can I have a motion to approve the trees removal, but remove the sign? Have a second?
Second.
Have a motion, a second. I have one question, just from my curiosity, is on the item sheet for removal of the trees, there's no name of the company. There's a list of all that's going to cost, but there's no company name. On the remove for the sign, there's a name of a company, Precision Signs, with
Right.
all the information. But for the tree removal, it's a list of who's doing what and how much it's going to cost.
Okay, I just know it's the same company they used before.
Well, my concern is you're paying a foreman $823 to supervise. And then you're paying skilled labor. I'm just, my concern is with the way it's listed here, I'd like to know make sure that it is a local company. Because I know we currently use, or get different people to do tree work here in the town. And I don't know that I've seen a bill quite detailed like this without a name of a company. And usually there's a name attached to it. But anyway, that's just my thought. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. And one opposed, Commissioner Legg, so 3-1. So they approved the tree removal, but took away the sign.
Okay, I see the sheet that you're talking about, and apparently,
I don't see a company.
yeah, this is just that company's cost based on how many trees there are. So I see what you're talking about on here.
Yeah, I was
But it
just
doesn't show
curious.
their name.
Yeah, I was just curious who's doing it. But that's all right.
Right.
Okay, anything else?
There are two other items, and this was a request from Tobias, our USDA representative, the architect, and also the contractor. And I know we just discussed this about change orders, but this particular change order, I first found out about it just over a week and a half ago. And they needed the trees to come down about a week and a half ago. And we had to wait till this meeting in order to get it approved and move forward. They did request, and I totally understand with y'all, I do not like change orders. I was not happy with this one when they called me. I wanted to know what was missed, and how it was missed, and who should be accountable for that. So the same way y'all are feeling, I've already gone through that myself, okay? So I'm right there with you on this. So anyways, in light of that, they asked that in order for the project to move along, just like I told you about the process for this change order, they would like to have a certain authority for us to have to approve change orders that happen so that the project does not get delayed. Because we could have had this done a week and a half ago, and the example I'm setting with the trees is, if the trees were down now, the new construction entrance would already be where the new road's gonna be now. That road wouldn't be there anymore, and all this fill dirt that they're put in would be coming more this way, but they can't move the road yet until the trees are gone, until the change order is approved. So they have asked, and I said I would ask for them, that we have $50,000 as a an amount that we can approve before it comes to y'all, but you would still be notified at the very next meeting if we have a change order that comes up, $50,000 or less, that we can go ahead and approve it. But I said, I'll ask the council. It's totally up to y'all.
Madam Mayor, ma'am,
Yes, sir.
you can write that $50,000 blank check to me. Because it's going either way. You might as well just give it to them, cash it, and let them go on.
Now, this was USDA and the architect asking for this, and all the contractor weighed in was it would just help them proceed with the schedule. They weren't the ones that brought it up. It was USDA and the architect. And I said, I'll ask.
Having been through, and this was in 2007 and 2009 when I was a commissioner, having been through the process with the dam that really did fail because of all different kinds of things and all the change orders we had, that was a process that took place then. That change orders could happen, they could be okayed and then brought to the board after the fact, and they did grow.
Right.
I personally would not have a problem if there's something needs to be done, calling a special meeting and have these board members come in to look at that change order
We can do
at
that.
that time. So like right now, if they needed those trees out 2 weeks ago, we could have had a special meeting. We could have polled when would be a good time, have everybody come in, and we could have done it, and we can approve it. So I'd say no
Go
blank
special meeting
check.
route.
I personally say no blank check. Having been there, done that, it works so much better with the second process with the design bill because they had a cap. And the only time we had to do something different and we had to pay for was when we had to stabilize the bridge. But everything else, they knew this is your limit. So that's my thought on it. So
Madam Mayor, Drew, the dates on these on these requests are February 15th.
Right. I didn't get them till a couple days after that.
And we had a meeting that night.
Right, but I didn't have it yet. I
Okay.
didn't find out until it was that Wednesday after that.
Okay.
just need to get them in soon.
I feel like the mayor. I mean, you know, we had a very good process through the lake, through ASI and Scheibel. We really did. It was a very, very good process with effective oversight. I don't believe in writing any blank checks, for one thing. I don't. And like the mayor said, I mean, if we need to approve something, just give us the date.
Okay.
We'll make the time.
Then what I'll do, if and when there could be another change order, then what I'll do is I'll get with the town clerk and we'll get the message out and
Because we
see
can
what's.
call, if need be, if it's something that's an emergency type situation, we can call that. And or otherwise, we have to give 48 hours notice for a meeting. So,
Right.
so we can, I
And
personally.
if it's not something that's preventing the schedule or anything, we can just wait till the next meeting.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay,
I got one more. I
Okay.
got something bad that, now, I don't have no problem with a special call meeting. I'm totally fine with that, but several of the board members here, we have, full-time jobs, we work away from town. Are we gonna be able to be on Zoom or be able to, if
We
we
can-
do have to have a special call meeting, do it that way?
yeah, as long as we announce it, we can do it by.
Yeah.
That Zoom is approved method now, so yes. And we would try to work around the convenience of the schedules that we have, which is what we try to do anyway.
I just wanna make sure we're all able to be in attendance.
Yeah,
if
everybody,
we're gonna be making-
in other words, making decisions like money spent, we all need to be, or you guys need to be for sure, y'all make the decisions. But yeah, I think that would be appropriate to, we can work around.
Well, as long as we, Madam Mayor, Drew, and this would work as long as we get the documents in advance. I mean, we couldn't get the documents,
Right.
the time of the
Like for
meeting.
instance, when I got this on, if we use this for instance, I think USDA did these documents on the 15th. I received them on the 17th. I could have gotten with the clerk then, sent y'all an email with the information,
Yep.
and say, what's the soonest we can get together to get this one moved along?
Yeah, and we can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, Jane can notice out. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a simple process. Either, the whole body of the board or, by Zoom, because many of us do work.
As long as you have a quorum, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Then we can make it work.
okay, that works
Yeah.
for me.
Okay?
okay,
Thank you.
All right,
thank you, sir.
thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, the next thing we have is our manager's report. Is there anything to add to the report?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
Additional. Thank
Okay.
you.
I got a question on the manager's report.
Okay.
And I guess it's not really so much as a question, but something that struck my mind when I was reading it is the second item, the replacing of the multipurpose trail, the old Jack White bike path. I'm just curious to know that how we can't get nobody to bid on that or can't get that job done, but yet here just like that, we get a sidewalk in on this side of Town Hall and Autry Grading Company's coming in doing, we're paying them $30,000 to do it. And we can get that done just like that, but we can't get nobody nowhere to do that project at the lake. I mean,
That's a good point.
I'm just wondering what the difference was in the,
A different time frame. That was bid out last fall. So.
did we talk to them about doing both
I think we're
projects at one
talking to
time?
them now. I think, I'm not sure if, I think, they were called, yeah. And they weren't interested at the time.
I mean, you know, I know it sounded bad the way I said it, but I'm just curious to how they jumped on that project and that happened like overnight.
It could be timing, it could be a number of different things, you know, I mean, I don't know, I can't answer that, but,
Have they showed any interest?
I don't know. I know that we're trying to re-engage them
Okay.
to see if there's interest in it.
Well, I'd appreciate it if y'all
Yeah.
would. I'd appreciate it.
We are,
Yeah.
we are.
Be an opportunity, yeah.
Sorry, thank you.
Okay. Update on committee activities. I'll have to get Commissioner Edwards' next time, but we do have a Mid-Carolina council meeting coming up, and it's by Zoom. So at our next meeting, she'll be able to give you an update on that. Commissioner Jerry Legg, Historic Preservation and RULAC.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. I asked Chancellor if he could get with our secretary and get a final printout of what we had, what we always discussed. And I'm going to try to read that now, first time I've seen it. So, the Town of Hope Mills Historical Committee had their monthly meeting virtually on February the 10th of 2020. At the meeting, the following items were discussed. A proposed 2021-2022 budget. The committee was officially successfully committed a proposal for the year in the new budget coming up. I'm changing some of these words. For $49,300 will be talked about at the budget retreat. The total budget request is mainly centered around focusing on the Thomas Oatman Chapel repairs, hiring a consultant to coordinate the designation of the church as a local historical landmark, and the Old Mill Days Senior Dinner. Hope Mills Historic Direct Master Plan, the committee also moved to create a subcommittee to work on the overall master plan for the district. The master plan will provide analysis of what projects are needed for completion while aiding in the transforming the committee's vision into a tangible projects. Currently, the project list includes the Thomas Oatman Chapel, Old Mill Days Senior Dinner, Trade Street Museum, and a historic walking trail. The committee is currently working on the master plan to be presented to the Board of Commissioners at the upcoming budget retreat. The Historic Committee conducted a special meeting on February 17th virtually at 6 p.m. The following items were discussed with the following motions being made. The historical tour, the committee is currently setting a date to tour local museums in North Carolina to gain insight and ideas for the museum as they are interested in a purity appropriate restoration of the building. The budget, there was discussion about possible moving $5,000 requested in the proposed 21 year budget from the church to the museum. The committee voted to keep the requested funds budgeted for the church as they would like to explore the possibility of a landmark nomination. Committee reinstated. The committee formally moved to request that the Hope Mills Board of Directors fully reinstate the committee to a commission. That's the end of that update. And at this time, I would like to make a motion that we give that authority back to the Historical Advisory Committee as a commission instead of a committee. That is in the form of a motion.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second?
Have a motion and a second, any discussion? I guess we need to ask the attorney, because I know there was something that had to be done to take it off of the commission. What's necessary to, can you help us with that?
Sure, we'll just need to amend the ordinance again, and, I'll have to bring it back before the board to approve the ordinance, but it's a relatively simple process. We can't do it just by majority vote, we have to have a written ordinance, to set forth their authority, so I can bring that to the next meeting if that's the direction the board wants to go.
That's good.
That would be great.
Madam Mayor, I do have a comment. Now, as I can recall, we changed the commission to a committee because with the commission, there's certain requirements that you have to have, and we weren't able to get people to fill those positions. So I'm kind of confused why less than a year later, we're going back to changing it back to a commission again.
It's my Mayor, it's my understanding that some people just wanted to be all committees and not a commission. It's my understanding that a commission has the more authority than a committee does. May I call on town clerk?
I'll just add that that's correct, that the commission would have authorities that the committee would not. I think, I talked with the chancellor about this about a week ago. I think the driving factor here is the desire to designate some landmarks as historic, which we cannot do with the commission. You have to have, with the committee, you have to have a commission by statute in order to get a landmark designated as historic. So I think that was the driving factor behind the change back to a commission.
Another factor was that the state's definition of a historic commission requires certain expertise. And we didn't have that. We didn't have an architect. We didn't have a historian. Once the gentleman from Fort Bragg died, all we had were interested citizens, but we didn't have anybody that could fill those seats that the state requires for a historic commission.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to read a passage from the General Statute 168 400-7. A majority of the members of such commission shall have demonstrated special interest, experience, or education in history, architecture, archaeology, or related fields. That's directly from the statute.
Madam Mayor, and if you can recall, when we did put people up there that had special interests, there was a big issue with it. I got called out for putting people on that committee that had special interests because that's the majority of what we had was people with special interests and not really the qualifications. I think the closest we probably had up there was a couple of realtors. And I think the woman that we just nominated is a realtor as well. But that was the issue, is that people had special interests, and that's a matter of definition. and it was an issue. So I just don't see, can the town not designate these landmarks? Can the town and employees not designate the landmarks? Do we have to have a commission to designate these landmarks?
I can do some further digging into that, but my reading of the statute, it says pretty specifically that a commission must request the designation. There may be some alternate way to do it, but the statutory language that I was reviewing is pretty clear that the traditional process is that the commission designates it or requests designation. I think the answer is that you have to have a commission to do it, but I can look and see if it's.
From personal experience, the home that I have that was built in 1900, it went through the process with the owner of the property and along with a consultant that did and there's a report online, somebody can go and look and see, to determine whether or not it was eligible. And so it can be done through a different process. And I know that if, like in the case of my business or my home that I own, because structurally it had been changed, architecturally it was a Victorian home, very much like the one on Pate Street, off of Trade Street. And when they moved it, they put the columns up. So structurally, it lost its credibility because it had been changed. And even though internally everything is 1900. So I do know that it can take place, and it can, there is a process. And I did give the information to the committee of who the contacts were through North Carolina, and also the lady that met with us down at the parish house. She was another one that was willing to help us pursue it. It requires a lot of paperwork. It requires a lot of effort, and it also, if you want a consultant, they can do the paperwork for you, but then you still have to do, there's paperwork that has to be accomplished. And if you, I can refer to the site that they can look and see what was required, because it is public record of when you apply. So that would be the only thing, is it is a process that you got to have somebody official that's got some training. Would it be appropriate to, we'll vote on this motion, but would it be appropriate for you to bring back to the board what would be required again? Because you're going to have to change the ordinance again.
Yeah, so here's what I can do. At the next meeting, I'll bring back a proposed ordinance change that the board can decide to go with or not go with, along with some information about potential other paths for designating historical landmarks.
Would that satisfy?
Madam Mayor, can I change my motion
Yes, sir.
somewhat? I withdraw that motion. I make a motion that we ask the town attorney to do just what he was discussing, to bring an ordinance review change back to this board, if you would, please. That's a motion, Madam Mayor, if we might
Okay.
vote on that.
I'll still second that.
Okay, second. All right, any other discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Opposed? Well, I'll have to go with the ones to let the attorney bring us back some information.
Thank you, Madam
And then we
Mayor.
can
Thank you,
vote
Madam
on it.
Mayor.
You're welcome. All right, next thing on our agenda would be, do you have anything from RULAC?
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner
no, I haven't.
Okay.
I thought you were skipping over something. I
No.
just said Mr. Marley's next.
Okay, Commissioner Marley, Veterans Affairs.
Yes, ma'am, they met at 6 p.m. on February 25th. They had several different topics of discussion, but I'll bring up some of the main topics. The Korean War Bench installation, they talked about holding off till the completion of the lake project there at Big T's. They wanted to kind of hold off on that. The next one is one I wanted to bring to the board's attention. I think I mentioned it one time before, but the Veteran Affairs Committee would like to rename the Veteran Park area in the memorial for Jim and Jean Clark, and they want it to be called Jim and Jean Clark Veterans Memorial. And they had asked that we put it on the agenda for approval, or asked me to get it placed on the agenda for approval. And they're requesting that that be done before Memorial Day, so the dedication can be done on Memorial Day. So I'll ask the board, do I need to make a motion to put it on the upcoming agenda, or can we do something with that tonight?
You want to make a motion to rename the park?
The park area, the Jim and Jean Clark Veterans Memorial.
Park.
So I can make that in the form of a motion if the board so chooses.
I'll second
to
that.
Vote on it tonight?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Well, I'll
What would the
make-
name of it be again? Jim and Jean
This
Smith
is
Memorial
Jim
Park?
and Jean Clark Veterans Memorial. Does it
It'll
need
be
to say?
James,
Sir?
James Clark.
James and
James and Jane Clark.
James and Jean Clark. It
Veterans
says
Memorial
Jim, I'm
Park.
sorry, I apologize. It says Jim on here. But it's James and Jean Clark
Clark.
Veterans Memorial
Park. The whole package.
Okay, we
Alright.
have a motion and we have a second.
Mhm.
Any other discussion? And I will tell you from my experience, the two of them were very influential in getting that park there and actually helped raise the money and help maintain it. So they're very, very worthy.
You're right, Madam Mayor. I mean, this was a project for Jim, for both of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, he raised just about all of it through donations or work in kind. I mean, it was a huge, huge project for him.
I remember when Miss Jean used to sit right there with a bag of candy for all of us every night.
Can I,
So,
I'm sorry, can I add to that memorial to include a sign or something to that effect
designate.
to have in place before Memorial Day for the, you agree with that?
Let me ask you this. Let the veteran service organizations talk about that.
The sign?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like the VFW, because they were active members in the VFW. That may be something that VFW may want to contribute themselves in honor of them. So it'd be a partnership project. I'm not speaking for the VFW, but we have a meeting on Thursday night. That may be something that we can consider then.
So we can do our first part and.
Yeah.
name-
We can name the park, and then we'll see what the VFW wants to do.
Yes, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Thank you very much. So we'll,
The other,
Okay.
couple other things, they had mentioned the, venturing crew and some, other town committees trying to get their schedules together to do some cleanup out there in the month of March. And also I had a question, cause there was some discussion about benches. They were trying to select some benches for the, park area. And I looked out there and the older concrete benches that are out there, and I've looked throughout the rest of the park, and there's newer, up-to-date benches throughout the rest of the park, and I was kind of wondering how that area got missed with the new benches when new benches were installed everywhere else. How did we miss that section over there?
That's a Parks and Rec question, I don't know, well, Marco's not here, so, also the previous Parks and Rec director ordered a lot of.
I was just curious why they didn't replace them when they did the rest, but,
Might be a budget retreat issue.
Yeah.
We can talk about it on Friday.
budget retreat.
Yeah,
okay.
If we ask her, they add that to
yeah. I mean,
the retreat.
That's all I've got right now.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem,
I'm trying not to overlap with some of the reports that's already been submitted. But I'll start with the prime movers, and please excuse me, I have to pull up my email on my phone. As you all know, that the prime movers, they partner with Parks and Rec for Black History Month for the Black History markers, and Spectrum News covered it the other day. We wanted to specifically thank Chanel Jones from Parks and Recs, the Mayor's Youth Coalition, and our advisory board members who helped us with their project. Of course, this month they'll be starting to recognize women for Women's History Month, and then eventually that will change over to history about the town. They're supposed to be getting some more permanent, those are more temporary, they're supposed to be getting some more permanent markers out there. Let's see, COVID testing is this Saturday at Mission Fields Ministries. Thank you to Pastor for letting us use his church. And we will start setting up at 8:30. If anybody wants to volunteer, you can volunteer. We'll be there until noon. Or if you would like to help us set up, you can do that. Or if you just need to come get tested for COVID, you can do that too. And again, that will be from about 8:30 until noon on Saturday at 3429 Black and Decker Road. And the prime movers are providing care packages for women in the community. Doesn't matter what your background is, all women are welcome to receive these care packages, and they will be courtesy of the Hope Mills Prime Movers. And that is the update from that one, Madam Mayor. Parks and Recs, again, they usually have a pretty detailed summary in the in the manager's report, but I would just like to mention, because I don't think I saw it there, that the Mr. Armstrong did attend that meeting, and he did let us know that the Hope Mills Youth Association is turning 40 years old this year. And I mentioned it to Madam Mayor about maybe we can add something in there for a celebration in our 130th year celebration that we're doing this year. Maybe we can throw in a celebration to celebrate that. The Parks and Rec staff, they did attend a training at the Arts Council to actually get some funding. I think they're trying to do the Project Support Series grant to kind of help us support us financially with some series. And there's a couple of things that came up that probably needs to be discussed during the budget retreat on Friday. And other than that, I would just like to mention this. It's in your packet here, but for our listening audience that may not have a packet, the VFW Post 10 6030 has a self-help site, a VITA volunteer income tax assistant program, which is really good. Veterans and their families can schedule an appointment on Fridays only. And the Summerscapes program for FTCC, I think we might have mentioned this before, they are going to partner with Parks and Recs to help enhance their summer program. And again, making progress with Heritage Park, the Town Lake Park, and the Splash Pad. So I think that's all that I have.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I tried
That's
to make
okay.
it short.
Good job. I have several. One that I'd like to first mention that our Tier 1 committee, we had a great turnout. We have our next meeting coming up March 4th at, no,
March 8th.
8th. March 4th is 130th birthday. Okay. What I was going to say about the Tier 1 committee is we now have someone from the Department of Commerce, someone from Partnership for Children, someone from FTCC, and there's one more.
Humboldt County Schools. Mental health.
Mental health, yeah. And what's happened is we've tried to encourage to get further participation, and we had a good meeting, the first meeting, and our next meeting will be to move forward with looking at the ways that we can partner, and then the ways that possibly we can come up with some additional funding for programs we're looking at ways that we can work with workforce development and the COG. They're coming up with ideas of ways that they can supplement and help our veterans, our seniors, or our youth as far as looking at work, and work especially for the summertime. The 130th birthday committee, we have put in place several activities. We're partnering with Parks and Rec, and some of their activities are going under the umbrella of that committee. But the big thing is that it's trying to celebrate the fact that we are able to do a little bit of limited activity now. On March the 8th at 8 a.m. we're having a Zoom meeting, and that is with our delegation from Senator Devier, Senator Clark, Representative Billy Richardson, Representative Zoka, Representative Lucas, Representative Diane Wheatley. They're all going to either be in attendance here or by Zoom. And that meeting is so that after our budget retreat on Friday, we can share with them what some of our priorities are. and they are going to see what they can do as far as from Raleigh's end, maybe help us. So that meeting is 8 a.m., and we're calling it a birthday. We had cake and coffee with our delegation. Mayor's Youth Leadership. I can't brag enough about this group. We've met every time on Zoom, with the exception of one or two being able to come in. But this youth group is probably not by far the best group I've worked with. Tonight they provided me with their membership manual that we can use from here out, telling you how you become a part of the Mayor's Youth Leadership. They've also requested that they can submit this to the State Youth Council and become a member. They asked tonight if we could ask the board if they would support this, in that it is a $50 fee. But once they become a member of the State Youth Council, then they can participate in things across the state. And the Youth Council is different from student government, because youth councils are usually formed by participants from the community. And so Fayetteville is a part of it, and Hope Mills will be if we can approve that. The other thing that they're doing is they are adopting Highway 162, and they've worked with DOT. They're actually going to get the signs that says the Mayor's Youth Leadership has adopted 162. They're using the month of March as part of the cleanup, and we're working with them and get the actual date. But they've done all this on their own, as far as they've had their advisors support them from the 3 different high schools. But they've done a great job. They've designed a T-shirt. They've also started an art contest. They're calling calling it Hope the Hero, is who they're going to use as their symbol for cleaning up and making Hope Mills beautiful. So the main thing I'm asking tonight is if the board will support their application to the state, and also support it with a $50 check, so that it can be official from the town of Hope Mills.
Does that require a vote?
Yes, because you're spending money.
Spending money. I
They're
would make
representing
a-
Hope Mills, correct?
Yeah, they'll be representing Hope. They represent all 3 high schools. They're they're members of the JRTC, Key Club, and Student Government. And there's right now there will be 6 students from each school. Each school has their own advisor, and those advisors actually attend the meeting also. Mr. McLaughlin is the staff liaison to that meeting. But they do their agendas, and they're attached to the town website. They've got an Instagram account. They've got a Facebook account, and they work in closely with the prime movers. What we're hoping will happen will be they will transition to that next age group and keep them involved instead of losing them when they go off to college or workforce. So
Make better future leaders.
hopefully that's what the
I
goal
will
is.
make a motion that we support
Thank you,
them.
sir. I appreciate it.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. I appreciate that, and I'll get the information. They're supposed to send me by email tonight the application process, and then I'll get the information to the town. I have not had a FAMPO meeting since our last meeting. The only thing with FAMPO is we do have to do our the ethics statements, and those are required, and you have to file them through North Carolina. That's the main thing we're doing now. The FCEDC Municipal Advisory Meeting. We haven't had another one since the last one we had, so that's all of mine. Staff comments? Staff comments, anybody? Nope. All right, official comments?
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank
Okay.
you. I want to thank everybody for all the hard work that they're doing. Drew, I hope I didn't sound rude. That's just the way I feel about things. And I hope it doesn't step on the toes of any other staff members in attendance. Although this is the 130th year of Hope Mills in itself, as Mayor Pro Tem spoke a while ago, this is the 40th year for the Hope Mills Youth Association, and I'm proud to announce that I'm their newly elected president for this upcoming year. And working with the town, Parks and Rec staff, in early June, Chief, we're gonna need your help. Starting in early June, we're hosting a softball tournament, which I think Melissa already sent this out. Like June the 6th, at Briar Park. There'll be teams from all over this area of the state participating in softball. And on the June the 26th, then we'll be hosting a double-A Coach Pitt State Baseball Championship. That will be sponsored by the Hope Mills Youth Association. I love tournament baseball. I just live for it. Those things are just some of the things that we hope is going to happen in the future, and we never know with this pandemic the way it is if we're really going to get to play baseball or not. But if we do, then those are the things that you can look forward to happening in Hope Mills. I believe that's about everything I've got to cover on here. I scribble. I can't read my own writing. So anyway, those are things. If you need anything to complain about anymore, you don't have to call Bruce Armstrong. You can call me. And that seems to be what we get most, is not too many pats on the back. Like this board don't get too many pats on the back, but we sure get criticized a lot. So, and I appreciate each and every one of you for standing up and supporting this board. And I hope Miss Edwards is doing well. Hope she's feeling better. And I stand up and salute all of our first responders, including you, sir. That'd be all, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to also thank everybody for coming and remind everyone that we're having our retreat on Friday, and that's usually a pretty good event, you know, as we look at prioritizing items for next year in the budget. I was really glad to see the discussion tonight from the Veterans Affairs Commission about renaming the park, the James and Gene Clark. They gave so much to our community. I know when I first met them in 2004, they were very instrumental in a veteran community that we're so blessed to have here in Hope Mills. And it's an honor to them and all the work that they contributed to that park and to veteran service organizations and to the number of veterans not only here that live in Hope Mills, but the tremendous amount of volunteerism that they gave in hours and hours and hours at our VA on Ramsey Street. So it's fitting, it's an honor. I think that there'll be some discussions like I was recommending from the veteran service organizations, that we could put a monument out there in that park to really dedicate that park in their honor of all the hours and years of service, not only to our great nation, but to this community. Thank you, Mayor.
Anyone else? Tim?
No, I'd just like to thank everybody for coming tonight. That's all.
You get everything?
Madam Mayor, I have one more thing, if I may.
Okay.
Have a suggestion. I don't know how it'll work out. The Town Parks and Recreation is sponsoring this softball tournament. Is there a reason why the money collected at the gates for that tournament can't go directly to the Hope Mills Parks and Recreation for further upkeep and unessential things they have to buy? Is there any reason that has to go into the general fund, and why it can't go back right into the Parks and Rec fund? I guess that's for Drew. I don't know.
Madam Mayor, I think that's another discussion we were gonna have during the budget retreat. It was like one of those items, but
Okay, would you put that on the budget retreat workshop? Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. All right. Is that it?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to conduct a closed session pursuant to NCGS 143-318-11A3, attorney-client privilege and personnel, NCGS 143-318-11A6.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We'll retire to the front conference room, and we'll be back as soon as possible. At this time, I'll call our meeting back to order.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to move to seal the minutes of the closed session until such time as the release of the information will no longer frustrate the purpose of the closed session and further no action was taken.
Have a motion, have a second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion